This is the OS&Y valve, open stem and yoke. Our stem is sticking out, therefore we know the valve is open. The yoke region is located right here. This OS&Y valve is one of the most popular sprinkler control valves and has been around for a very long time. The advantages of the OS&Y valve is that it can be repaired if needed. Other things that we need to be concerned about is the valve accessible at all times and does it show signs of leaking. This particular valve has electronic supervision on it. As required by NFPA 25, if the valve has electronic supervision, it should be inspected on a monthly basis. That inspection involves making sure that the stem is sticking out. If I see threads and the stem sticking out, the valve is open. On a semi-annual basis, this electronic device needs to be tested. The way I would test this valve is I would start to close the valve, turning it 2 or 3 times until a signal is sent to the fire alarm panel. That's an indication that this valve is being tampered with and that is now ringing out our fire alarm panel. Many times the fire alarm panel is not in the same area as the valve. So since we tested the electronic device, we now have to go to the panel and see if the signal has been transmitted to it. We know it has because we have a supervisory signal here and then indicating what valve has been tested or received by the panel. On a monthly basis, we have to make sure that the valve is not leaking or showed signs of leaking in the past. As you can see here, the rust spot on the floor, this valve has leaked. On an annual basis, the OS&Y valve has to be closed 100% to ensure the mechanism is working properly. As I close the valve to its full closure point, I want to make sure that the valve stops. If the wheel continues to spin, that will be an indicator that the valve has been damaged or has not closed all the way. As with all valves, there's an indicator telling you which direction to turn the valve in the open position. We also have to identify this valve to ensure that we've looked at all the valves in our sprinkler system. The OS&Y valve must be fully open to ensure that it's operating properly. If the valve continues to turn and the stem continues to turn, that is an indication that the gate has dropped. I open the valve fully and I want to feel some resistance to the valve. I also want to look at the stem and make sure that it's not moving. If it's not, that means that the valve is totally engaged. This same technique can be used on the wall post indicator valve and the post indicator valve. How often we have to inspect the valve? If I have electronic supervision, the valve has to be inspected on a monthly basis. If I have a lock or a chain, the valve also has to be inspected on a monthly basis. However, if I have a seal, the valve has to be inspected on a weekly basis. I cannot have a valve that has none of these. If you have any questions, make sure that you contact a fire safety professional to ensure that you're doing these tests properly.